Peace, y'all. Hey, it's me, Paricia Lachey. I know y'all saw that name and was wondering, like, how do I say that? It's Paricia Lachey. That's my name, Paricia Lachey. I put my first name and my middle name together because I wanted to be fancy, add a little razzle dazzle. You know, like Emily Elizabeth from Clifford. I always thought that was amazing how she had two first names. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna rebrand to Paricia Lachey. So yeah, it's your girl, Paricia Lachey. I came today with a little message. I got a little message. I was just doing some reflecting on myself, reflecting on my life, reflecting on my experiences. And I made this post. And it says, I remember when having spiritual gifts felt like a curse. Seeing things that were unseen, knowing things I shouldn't have known, and getting into trouble because people thought I was lying or sneaking, when truthfully I just knew. Making a mess of situations because I couldn't tell the difference between the physical and the spiritual world. As a child, everything was one. I was always well beyond my years, and I masked myself as smaller and less wise than what I was for safety. But my view of life has always been very deep and a lot more than what meets the eye. Having intense experiences with no one to help me make sense of them drove me into deep isolation for years. Knowing I'm unlike other people I rarely want to be around, even more so now. I'm grateful that it's a lot more info out of how to work with these energies as opposed to just living with them in silence. Well wishes to anyone who can relate. Times are really changing and we were made for it. So I just wanted to come on here and talk about that a little bit. So and just to be clear, y'all, I'm not smoking weed. This is a herbal roll. It's straight Damiana. I didn't put nothing else in it but Damiana. It's just to, you know, chill me out a little bit. I don't smoke weed anymore. I never smoke cigarettes, nothing like that. I don't drink alcohol. Not that any of this really matters or is anybody's business but my own. But I just want to put that out so for the people who are new and are watching, y'all can just have an understanding of who you're watching and what you're dealing with. But I don't smoke anymore. But I do have smoke herbs sometimes. I drink tea. And I will be having some herbal rolls for sale for dreaming, for relaxation, and for mood boosting. I'm putting them together. That's going to be soon. But let me get back to it, y'all. When I was younger, I was a kid who saw a lot of things. I was a kid who was deep into my imagination, so deep that I could literally make up a story that was so grand and so fantastic that people would think that it was real. So on one hand, I was always a great storyteller. I could always go deep into like details of just anything, and I could really draw people in with the emotion of what I was saying, especially when I was younger. But that actually stemmed from the things that I was experiencing in life that were just going on, I thought, inside my head, but were going on outside of me as well. One thing I used to do a lot when I was younger was sleepwalk. I was an avid sleepwalker. There were often times where, like, my dad would tell me that I would try to get out of the house. There were a lot of times when I was dreaming something, and, like, for instance, my mom told me that I was sleeping, but my mom, I heard her telling me to go in her room and get some change off her dresser, and I was so irritated because I'm like, man, I'm in a good nap, like feeling good, sleeping. I had to be like 8 years old. So I got up with a little attitude too, went into her room and was getting a change off her dresser, and then she came in there and she was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm doing what you asked me to do. I'm getting a change. She's like, I didn't ask you to come in my room. Like, get out of my room. And she was frustrated, so because I think in her mind she believed that I was just trying to steal change or trying to sneak. But truthfully, in my dream, I heard my mother tell me to go and do this. Now, there were other situations where my dream world, the spiritual world, and the physical were meshing, and because I didn't have a clear understanding, I really have been put in some dangerous situations. I won't go into it because it's real deep and it's real dark. Which brings me to the fact of having spiritual gifts, especially as a young child growing up. When I grew up, early 2000s, 90s, my people were heavily into the church. That shit wasn't talked about like that. I didn't have nobody coming to me and who was on that like that took me under their wing. So I just had to deal with it. Hold on, y'all. Let me get my earring together. I just made these joints. They're fire. I know they're fire. You ain't even gotta tell me. Okay, but listen. I just had to deal with it, and yeah, it was very difficult. I've been studying here a lot more lately, just like clairaudience, clairvoyance, and just what those things actually look like, and coming to realize that a lot of those things I've been experiencing since I was a very young child. Just the ability to know things. There were so many instances, man, where, because I was in an environment where people just they couldn't see me, you know what I'm saying? So I would just know stuff. I would know stuff, and I would be especially as it pertains to adults and the way that they operated, I could always tell when there was something underneath the surface that wasn't being brought out. And me being me, I was a child who just spoke the truth. I wasn't afraid to speak the truth. I was very outgoing and out with my words. So I was just calling people out. And, I grew up in the South. I grew up in the Black culture. Children are supposed to stay in children's places and whatnot. So I got in trouble a lot for that and for speaking deep truths about people as a child. And I also got in trouble a lot at school because I just always knew what was coming next. I remember reading a book in 3rd grade. The librarian was reading us a book, and she got to a point where she was asking the class, what do you guys think is going to happen next? And I told her, I raised my hand, I told her. And then she asked again in another part of the book, and I just kept saying, oh, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And she snapped out on me in the middle of the class and was like, you read this book before. You read this book before. Don't call out any other answers. I'm like, no, I haven't read the book. I just know what's going to happen. No, you're lying. You read in the middle of the class, and I'm in the 3rd grade. And it was a lot more traumatizing to me, especially in the time period, because I know I'm not lying. But I suffered through that a great deal, growing up, just where people are looking at me as if, oh, there's no way that you know this. You had to have done something sneaky to gain this knowledge. You had to have done something sneaky to be able to, or you're lying about how you know certain things. So growing up, there was a lot of fear for me. I developed a lot of fear at a certain point after so much of this surrounding this gift that I had of just knowing things, just an internal knowing. People's energy has always been highly, I just saw it. I could see energy. I could feel energy on a very deep level. So there were instances where I would be in as a child, and I just knew, oh, this is dangerous. This person is dangerous, or something bad may happen. And I remember a lot of times around certain people, I would just bust out crying, just in paralyzed fear, because I just knew something was off about a certain person or a certain thing. And that usually, that kept me safe. That kept my siblings safe a couple of times too. I got a lot of stories, but all that to say, man, it's amazing how the world is changing. It's amazing how these things are now out for people to research and study, and almost like out in mainstream. Like I went to go see Bad Boys last night, and they were talking, the whole movie was like, they were kind of playing, you know, but it was still very deep as far as how they were talking about past lives and just this spiritual energy. It was almost like a Kundalini experience that Marcus had went through. I'm sorry if I'm spoiling the movie, y'all, but that he had went through, and he came back and he was just so courageous, like not afraid of life, not afraid of anything. He just knew that he was going to be okay no matter what he did. And I feel like a lot of people are being able to get a taste of what it feels like to really be in tune with themselves and the universe, and everything around them. I myself am still very spiritually sensitive, so I spend a lot of time by myself. I spend a lot of time just by myself. I love being by myself. I love my alone time because it's the time where I get to freaking just be without being attached to everybody else's stuff. And another reason why I'm so grateful that this information is coming out is because it allows us to be able to trust ourselves a lot more. Like, even to this day, I experience a lot of things in my head, like visually being able to see things as it relates to other people. And it's like just randomly just freaking stuff that it just don't seem like it's my business to know. I be knowing about people, and I don't really know what I'm supposed to do with that information. But it's also like, I don't really know if what I'm seeing is something that's true, or if it's something that I've just conjured up. Is it a projection of myself? Is it something that was just put together in my mind? Like, but then as I study this stuff and I come into contact with more people who are expressing their experiences, is when I can like really make sense of the fact that, hey, I'm learning this stuff, or I'm receiving these messages for a reason. It may be because I'm meant to help people. It may be because, you know, Spirit wants me to reach out to the people that I am seeing in certain lights, and I don't know, connect with them in some way. I haven't reached that point in my journey yet, y'all. I still don't really know. Like, I've seen some deep, intimate things that, like, you know, a person's deepest, darkest secrets, the things that they may be ashamed of, the things that they may, like, try to hide, things that have happened to them. I can see that. And, man, and it's not with everybody, but it's also very uncomfortable. That's also why I like to be by myself, because it's like, I don't want to be out in the world and everybody kikiing, ha-haing, and I'm the person that's just seeing, boom, I see this, I see that. I'm not even looking for it. That makes it incredibly difficult to live this life. So a lot of times I'll find myself in social situations where I would just, I wouldn't even make direct eye contact with people, and I still don't. I don't do it as much as normal people would, because when I look at you, I'm looking at you. When I look at you, I'm looking at you, and I'm seeing. And some of the things that I see are really sad. The sad people are really going through some deep shit in this world. You gotta really laugh to keep from crying. But people, I just see a lot. I see people's pain, you know, on a deep level. And it makes it difficult to be around people, because I got my own pain. And I don't know, I'm still learning what to do with that. And I internalize things, and I feel a great sense of responsibility to help people without actually knowing how to help. So for a long time, it's just been me. I have friends, but I can't do too much because I see things a lot deeper than everybody does. Not everybody, I'm sure, you know, and this isn't like, this is the thing about it. I feel like a lot of us were given these gifts, but some of us really got trapped into the matrix of what we're supposed to be, and they just pushed these things out of us. So, it develops into other stuff. It develops into drug usage because we're trying to escape from what we feel, from the intensity. It develops into hypersexuality. We're trying to have sex to push it out of us. It develops into eating disorders. A lot of us are fucking dealing with obesity and heart disease. We're just trying to eat away and suppress these energies. And all of us have these energy centers in us. All of us have gifts. But it's about everybody has different gifts. Everybody uses their gifts in a different way. But I feel like a lot of us have been trained to really push that stuff out of us. I think that schooling and these tests and these pathways that they put us down, they test our minds to see where we are. And then I honestly feel like they direct us in an opposite direction than what the test is showing us. It's showing them who we are. I remember in school being tested for being gifted, being tested for, what career path you want to go down and all of these different things. And I really feel like that information is weaponized against us, especially when you have a child who is exhibiting extraordinary behaviors. They will do what they can, and I feel like due to it being a system is pretty easy, and due to children being easily impressionable, highly impressionable, it's easy to shift the direction into an alternate view. And I've experienced that. In hindsight, I can recognize it. In hindsight, I can definitely recognize it. And it's a frustrating world that we live in, but a lot of us have these gifts. I'm grateful that all of this information is out here for us to be able to figure out what we are working with and how to work with it. I also know that it ain't always rainbows and butterflies, but it's never been that. It ain't never been sweet, especially not for me. It always had a sense of darkness to it, a sense of mystique, a sense of danger, a great sense of danger. But as adults, at least we have more discernment and more wisdom, so we know how to control it. And that way we can help our children when they're experiencing these things to the best of our abilities. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and touch on that a little bit because I am grateful that things are changing, and it's helping me to make sense of why I went through some of the things that I went through. And hopefully, throughout my life, I'll furthermore be able to understand why it was all necessary. And hopefully all of this shit makes sense, even more sense than it does. Because I feel like I've been through a lot of things that I don't know why God would put me through that. I don't know why I would be put in a position to know things. And then based on me trying to act on the things that I know, I found myself in a lot of deep trouble that I didn't necessarily understand. So yeah, that's that. On another note, I am starting a new website. If y'all don't know, I am the owner of the Black Essence Shop, which is slowly but surely transitioning into being Parishie Lachey. The brand, which is a brand that I offer jewelry, handcrafted jewelry. I'm going to have herbal smokes. I'm going to have books that I have written, prompted journals. In fact, y'all, I'm already published on Amazon with a prompted journal. It is called Navigating Black Motherhood. There is 100 prompts and 100 affirmations for each prompt. And it's pretty much diving deep into the ideologies of raising Black children, specifically in this society, like in America, what it looks like. It's just really about bringing awareness to what's in your mind and in your heart about raising your children, so that you have a clear picture of it, and that you can see what you think, and then you can weed out what you don't want and what you do want, what you want to expound on and make better, and what you want to take away for the sake of your children and for the sake of your lineage going forward. I'm all about mothers tapping into their true power so that we can progress ourselves first and foremost, but also progress our children and our grandchildren so that we can jump forward in the future. as opposed to being stuck behind, still trying to figure it out. I feel like we are at a great advantage these days. I feel like our ancestors put in a lot of fucking work to get us to a point where we can use our brains to develop what we want to develop creatively, so that we can be free, you know, physically free, mentally free. Now I'm really working on us being emotionally free, us being psychologically free. That's my passion and that's my purpose, I feel, on this planet, to help mothers to really tap into their power, so that we can progress psychologically and emotionally and physically and mentally and all the other leads as well, but specifically into our minds, specifically into our spirits as well, spiritually progressing. So this journal is a fantastic tool to help you to just begin to see, scratch the surface of what you've been feeling, what you think about raising children. And I guess I'll share one with y'all. Let me see. Okay, so number 84 was share your experiences of addressing and challenging colorism within your family and community. How do you promote love and acceptance of all shades of Blackness? And then the affirmation is, as a Black mother, I am nurturing a legacy of resilience, empowerment, and unyielding determination for my children to carry forward. Growing up for me was difficult due to colorism, being a dark-skinned girl. My family, like, they always told me I was beautiful. Oh, you're a beautiful chocolate thing. You're a beautiful little Black girl. I heard that all the time. I also heard you're beautiful for a Black girl all the time. But I also heard, you know, derogatory things about my skin color, my Black ass, or all of these different things, especially from kids. Not directly so much from family, but from my siblings. You know, I did. And then my parents would call me, you know, they were like, oh, you're a Black ass this, blah, 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 blah. So they used it, they weaponized it in certain times too. And that was just culture, you know. It didn't make it feel good. That doesn't make it right, but I'm just saying that was just the culture. But due to the fact that I was already experiencing so much colorism in my life outside of home, when they would say that to me, it would really hit me in a different way. So honestly, I feel like as time has gone on, the stigma behind having dark skin has changed a lot. Even the stigma behind having light skin. And maybe that's just due to the circles that I'm in now. But I just don't see it being as much as a problem as it was before. So with that being said, my whole mentality is already different because I went through it. So when it comes to my children, like, I just tell them all the time that they're beautiful. Like, they're beautiful. Your skin is so wonderful. It's just so rich and chocolate. Like, goodness, it's amazing. And nobody looks, I have 3 children, and I can already tell now that they don't look at skin color like that skin color is better than mine or anything like that. When I was my children's ages, my oldest is 7, I was already internalizing the belief that light skin was better, that I wanted to have lighter skin, I wanted to have long hair, I wanted to have light eyes. Now, I don't know if the boys were exactly the same, but definitely for the girls, that was a theme that I saw growing up. So my daughter is only 2 years old, so hopefully, due to the way that I condition her to love herself, to look at beauty every time she looks in the mirror, I always be like, look at you, you're so beautiful. Like, goodness, I get excited. I get all jittery for her, just letting her know, like, I'm proud of her and she should be proud of the way that she looks. And she does, honey. She get her hair done, she be in the mirror, like, flexing. It's like prancing around the house and stuff. It's so freaking cute. It's so cute. But I just do my best to talk to them and let them know, like, hey, just constantly affirm their beauty, because they are truly beautiful children, and I want them to always know that. So that's question number 84, and I would have just wrote it all the way out. Then I could review it It's also something that you can pass down, like it's a keepsake. So you get all the way to 100 and then you hold on to it, and then you can pass it to your daughter when she becomes a mother, so that she can have an understanding of your experience when you were trying to work your way through Black motherhood. It's a great tool, y'all. It's full of thought-provoking questions, and if you want to purchase it, the link to it will be below. You can purchase it directly on Amazon. My website, Parishie Lachey, is in the works. I am creating it now. So soon, jewelry. I am dropping a new line, by the way. This is one of the earrings that will be featured in this new collection. This collection will be called Calypso. It's all wire designs. If you're familiar with the Black Essence shop, then you know that I worked a lot with beads and like beads and charms and stuff like that. But now I'm really niching down and doing what I really love to do, what makes me unique as an artist, as a jewelry maker. And I know that the way that I wrap my wire, the way that I twist my wire is very unique. So I don't have to try too hard. I feel like when I was doing the beads and the charms, I was trying to stand out, trying to make it look different. But when it comes to wrapping this wire, twisting this wire up, it just comes naturally. So this Parishie Lachey is going to feature crystal lock jewels and wire earrings for jewelry for right now. Maybe in the future I might add a bracelet collection or something like that, but for now it's going to be real simple. It's going to be real classic. These type of earrings are earrings that you can wear with anything, and they're statement pieces, because when somebody sees them, they're going to be like, oh, those are dope. They're going to compliment them. Like, do y'all see the symmetry going on? Do y'all see how like it has a line through the middle of symmetry? I really am into geometric shapes. So everything that I make will be geometrically created. Not to say that it's going to be exactly the same, but it's going to be made with geometric shapes because I love it. I love the look of it. So again, Parishie Lachey, the website is on its way. I have a blog. I am working on another project specifically for mothers and storytelling. So that will be something that will be releasing soon. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and chop it up with y'all for a little bit. I didn't have much going on, and I just had that on my heart as far as spirituality, because it's just, what a time to be alive, you know? What a time to be alive, where all the truth is coming out, and the freaks don't have to be freaks no more, because we don't realize that we are freaks. Those of y'all who ain't freaks, y'all just born. For real, what a time to be alive. But I'm gonna hop off of here, y'all. I ain't got no charger, so I gotta save my battery. So I'm gonna let y'all go. Peace.